Hi, today from the beautiful town of Taormina on Sicily in Italy. Today we'll be talking about uniqueness, about scarcity. What means a real scarcity in relation to a product or service, how to build it, how is the role, what role does it play in marketing, and how you can leverage that scarcity, that uniqueness. See you after the short break. Hi again. In my last video I was talking about why scarcity is such an important factor and why it is much more important for value creation than utility. And today I'm here in the ancient theater of Taormina on the island of Sicily in Italy. And this place is actually a great example to illustrate this principle that the uniqueness, that the scarcity creates value. And this is the main factor in value creation. Because today, this town of Taormina is visited by over 1 million people a year. Also, it is a small town on a small island somewhere in the Mediterranean. But millions of people come here to see this place today. And this town of Taormina was an ancient Greek settlement here in the Sicily. Later it was conquered by the Romans, and it was also a Roman city. And this ancient theater was initially a Greek theater. It is called Teatro Greco, so the Greek theater, but it was remodeled, renovated, rebuilt by the Romans to incorporate also an arena where they had like the gladiator fights and beast fights and so on. But this settlement lost its, let's say, civilizatory importance in Middle Ages and was generally turned into a village, to a farmer's village, and all these ancient remainers, they were overgrown by vegetation, whatever. It was again rediscovered. At least some of the remainers from the ancient times, from the Romans, from the Greeks, it was rediscovered roughly in 18th century. And then the first archaeologists, scientists, and also, let's say, artists came here to get inspiration, to get some education. And one of the greatest artists that visited Taormina was, of course, Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, a German writer and poet, and he was also a diplomat and many other things. But generally, during his Italy travel in 18th century, he visited also Taormina, and of course some other scientists and so on. But it was pretty niche town, and only a few educated people knew about this town. But then the real hype started in 19th century, in the middle of 19th century, and it was started actually by a German, Otto Gellenk. He was a painter, a German painter, Otto Gellenk, and I assume Otto, being German, learned about Taormina from the book by Goethe. And he came here and he discovered a lovely place, and he started to paint his paintings. And they were simple landscape paintings. They weren't really ambitious. It wasn't a big art. He just wanted to cover what he sees. And on his paintings, you could usually see on one view, in one painting, in the front, you could see some ruins, some ancient ruins, maybe like this theater, this amphitheater here. Then in the background, you could see the sea, like here, you see, and also the active volcano, Etna, that you see in the background. I'm not sure if you can see it now. Is it covered? with it's pretty much covered with clouds right now, but with good weather you can see there is a huge volcano, the largest volcano in Europe, and it is active. It is covered with snow until June. So you could see it in the background, and also what you could see in the foreground was the almond flowers. So the flowers on the almond trees that they blossom here in February, maybe a little bit in March. So you have on the same painting blossoming almond tree and snow-covered Etna volcano, and you have the sea in the background, and you have these ancient ruins. And he was selling, of course, these pictures to the tourists here, and he was exporting these pictures also to let's say aristocrats, some intellectuals maybe in London, in Paris. I'm not sure which markets he was active on, but London pretty sure, pretty much. People couldn't believe there is a place like that in the world. They thought it was his fantasy, like you have all these elements in one place. You can see in one view the ruins, the romantic ancient ruins, blossoming almonds, and the sea and Etna volcano, snow-covered volcano. But he was always claiming, there is a place like that in the world. This is not fantasy. People were thinking this is his fantasy, his imagination. He said, no, they are realistic, real view, like photographic paintings. And when you come to Taormina, you will see this is real. Come to Taormina and you will get convinced there is a place like that in the world. And he actually was taking some bets on that his paintings were actually one-to-one copy of real views here in Taormina. So he was also selling these paintings, of course, to important people, intellectuals, maybe royalty that came here to brag to others in Europe about the views, the beautiful places they visited, and generally showing this uniqueness of this place, because nobody could believe there is a place like this in the world where you can see all these elements in one place. And this uniqueness sold this Taormina to many influential people. So in the course of the end of 19th century, the beginning of 20th century, all the royal people from the heads of royalty, all the kings and emperors of Europe came here to Taormina, and also the big industrialists and, of course, intellectuals, artists, and so on. And it became a very posh place, a go-to place for important people, for wealthy people. Of course, the price, these hotels, they created many five-star hotels here on the slopes of this mountain, this hill here where Taormina is located, and in Taormina, close to Taormina. So the town grew, and to this degree that there was also a direct train going from London, Paris, Taormina, like the Orient Express goes London, Paris, I guess Istanbul. Then at that time there was also London, Paris, Taormina. Don't ask me how this train got to the island of Sicily, but there was such a train, and it ended here in Taormina and people got out in the base station at the train station, and then were transported here to the hotels on the hill. And the better view the hotel had and has to this moment, they can charge you, of course, higher prices for the meals on the terrace, for the view in your bedroom, and so on and so on. And this is again the proof, or just perfect example, how you create a value. because after that, of course, when the most important people from Europe came here, the famous people, of course, all the later, film industry, they came here to entertain themselves, the actors, the singers, whatever, Hollywood, and of course European movie makers, European actors as well. More and more people started to come here to be in that famous place. So today, millions of people come here and visit Taormina. So this is how you create value. You have this uniqueness, and the uniqueness of this place is to have that beautiful view with all that elements that you don't get anywhere else in the world. So if you like this video, give me a thumb up. If not, thumb down. Subscribe if you haven't. There is also a bell button. Press this bell button if you want to get notifications about this video. Share this video with your loved ones, with your friends. I talk here a lot about business, how you do business on the highest level in the world, how our self-made billionaires think and act. I talk here about money, about economy, about doing great, important, impossible things in your life and business. So if you like this video, you will certainly like my other videos. That's it for today. I wish you a fantastic day. Let's do something extraordinary today.